I'm Alex Lowen here with Rod North, my co-host, and we're thrilled to introduce Aureka Limited. That's ticker code AKA. And we've got Managing Director James Gurry with us today. James, tell us all about Aureka Limited and what you're up to.
Yeah, so Aureka is one of Victoria's largest and advanced stage gold exploration companies. And we're really ramping up activity in 2025. So we resumed trading on the ASX late last year. We've got a terrific team in place, and we've got 3 key projects that the team are working on. So it's really great. Obviously, we know that the gold price is at a record high, so it's an excellent time for us to be drilling and extending the amount of gold that we know that we already have in the ground.
And what are you doing at the moment? Like, why have you done that 3 mil raise?
We've advanced and brought in some additional money so that we can bring in an additional drill rig to advance our projects a little bit quicker than we first planned at the end of last year. So when we got this company up and going again, as you know, it's always a challenge to get a new company into the market and up and going. We did that quite successfully. And as we've seen throughout this year, the gold price continues to be at a record high. So we took the decision a few weeks ago to find an additional diamond drill rig and bring that in onto our Sinanad project, which is terrific. So our 2 key projects that we're drilling is the Irvine project, which is just south of Stawell. That's our biggest project at the moment. It's got 300,000 ounces of an inferred JORC resource, plus an exploration target of a similar size on top of that. So that's really our company maker project, but also a little bit further on to the northwest is Sinanad, and up there we have a project there which was a previously mined operation up until the 1990s, and so we've brought the drill rigs in there as well. So that in this excellent gold price environment, we're advancing our projects as much as we can and as quickly as we can.
And how are you doing that? Tell us the process.
The process really has been to put together a first-class team. So when we had the idea to bring Aureka back to the market late last year, the first task was really to attract a Tier 1 board of directors, and we've got that in place, which is terrific. That's led by Graham Hunt, who used to be the CEO of Lihir Gold when that was sold to Newcrest. And then at the other directors that we've got on board is Angela Lorrigan. She's our technical director, brings a lot of recent experience from her time at Southern Cross Gold. So she's an excellent technical director to come on board. And Richard Taylor is another director that we have who's led a number of small ASX resource companies as well. So the first task was to really get a first-class Tier 1 board in place. And you may just notice on our announcements that about 3-4 weeks ago, we appointed a world-class exploration manager in Joseph Story. So he joined us from Barrick. He spent the last handful of years over in Africa chasing narrow vein gold, which is the same type of gold that we have here in Victoria. And so it's excellent that we've got Joseph and the team of geologists out there today, right now. We're drilling 2 projects and the team's out there. So they're doing the hard work while we're talking about it right now. So that's really the process, because when we brought this company back to the market last year, we knew that we had one of the largest portfolios of advanced stage gold exploration portfolios in the state. And the key thing for us is to focus on our most valuable projects first, and that's what we've done. So we're focusing on the Irvine project at Stawell, and also what I like to call Sinanad. That's sort of that near-term producer, given it used to be a mine up until the mid-1990s. So that does have potential to potentially bring that into production a little bit sooner than, say, a greenfield project. So that's the task that we've been busy at, and it's really good to bring in a little bit of money and to ramp up the exploration drilling that we've got going on, so that we can increase the resource inventory that we do have. We know that we started off with a large inventory, which is terrific, but also we need to show the market, show the industry, show investors that actually these projects are moving as fast as possible towards being commercial scale and into that sort of pre-development stage. So that's why I say that we're advanced exploration and pre-development. We're extending what we already know is in the ground there, and it's great that I've got a good team around me helping me with that task.
And a success story with that, the reason you've done the raise, is that going to be spent on property or operations?
Yeah, well, one of the things about gold exploration and really preparing and doing those de-risking activities that you want to have done prior to making any sort of investment or development decision in the years ahead, I should say, is that ensuring that you control your own destiny by at least having some of the land on which the gold is underneath. Yeah, we've just agreed to purchase some of the land that overlays our gold projects, which is terrific. So we've purchased some land that was on the market prior to us getting back to our activities. So it means that we haven't had to pay a premium or over the top for this land, which is terrific. And really what this land will mean for us is that we can establish a permanent presence at the project site. So at the moment we have our core shed, which is an excellent core shed, but it's up in the township of Stawell. It'll give us the opportunity now to have another core shed at the site itself. It'll also show people that we're permanently committed to the project, right? So there's no putting down the tools for winter or going off and doing other activities. It shows a real commitment to the community, to the area, and to our projects, so that we really do see these projects, and the Irvine project in particular is one of the largest undeveloped projects in terms of gold in Victoria. So we're keen as we can be to prosecute the amount of work that we can do there. And one of those ways is also not being in the way of other people in the area and owning your own land, and so that you can access it and control your destiny a little bit better than it is otherwise.
And for our viewers and investors, James, tell us about you as the Managing Director and your background and why you're making it a success, because you're focused, you can hear that, and you're passionate.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Alex. So I spent most of my career as a mining analyst. I spent 7 years in London, but also time in Melbourne and Sydney as a mining analyst, writing those buy, sell, hold reports on mining companies on the ASX. And I, a couple of years ago, saw the opportunity to get hold of this portfolio in an environment where the gold price hadn't quite got going yet. So that was the real opportunity, that I saw that these assets themselves traded for a significant value on the ASX under a previous company. But now we brought them back to the market. We really got excellent investor backing. We've got some excellent cornerstone shareholders and institutional investors backing us. So that's the opportunity that I saw. We've got a very modest market cap at the moment compared to where these assets previously traded. So I think it's a really exciting time for us as a team, but also those that are looking at our company. There's a whole lot of potential, or untapped potential, that we do have not reflected in our valuation, I should say. So it's onwards and upwards for us from here. Absolutely.
We'll see it tenfold soon, hopefully, in the coming 18 months or so.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we just need to deliver those drill results come through. And as I mentioned before, if we can just demonstrate to people that these projects are moving towards that sort of pre-development stage, we're doing those de-risking activities like working out our permanent land access, which we just went through with those land acquisitions. Also, we've got those 2 drill rigs running, which is the most important thing, so that we prove up and head probably towards 1 million ounces of gold in the ground. So as I said before, we've got around 300,000 ounces of an inferred resource at the moment at a good grade of 2.43 grams per tonne. And our task is to continually grow that and continually update our investors on the work that we are doing. So it's very pleasing to have it all underway.
Now, I just wanted to introduce Rod North, who's a financial commentator and expert and knows a lot about the Victorian gold industry. I'd love you to be now our interviewer, Rod, handing over to you to talk about the market and gold in Victoria.
Well, I think it's very interesting to get James to sort of comment on the context of where Victoria sits in relation to gold, because obviously there's a lot of highly prospective history there. And I think a lot of people, when the gold price was much lower than it is today, where it is now, around $5,000 an ounce or thereabouts, it's come up, in the last 20 odd years from around 1,000. So it's a big lift. I think a lot of people perhaps aren't aware of that. makes another focus, back onto looking at Victoria, and basically your big focus is Victoria. So talk a bit about, just the context of that and perhaps the geology as well.
Yeah, absolutely, Rod. And I think you can see it in the context of our tagline there, which is bringing Victoria's gold back to life. There was a significant amount of work done previously, as you know. The 1850s into 1900 was really, the boom period for Victoria. But we have seen estimates from the government agencies to say that there's far more gold that is yet to be discovered in Victoria that has been picked off at surface at these levels. So it is very interesting when you look at the areas where we're drilling and that we're discovering our gold. Like other companies, it tends to be where you have a lot of previous surface workings. So if you look at our area just south of Stawell, although there hasn't been any mining there for quite some time, probably not since the 1850s, we are actually touching the surface of previous workings. You can see this disturbed ground that hasn't been turned into farmland yet or anything like that. Often they remain public reserves or bush reserves because it is such disturbed ground where the old timers went through and picked out all the gold they could at surface. And what we're actually doing is drilling in underneath that. And actually, if you have a look at our recent announcements, we're having success finding mineralisation and gold in areas that we previously didn't realise where there was potential. So we've actually already added to our areas of interest, our ground of interest recently, which is fantastic. But also, as you sort of picked up on there, what's interesting about our Sananad project is that was last mined in the 1990s, right? So when gold was well under $1,000 an ounce. And so it's really up to us to go up there and drill more. We just put out an initial JORC resource around that project, but it is very interesting that was last mined when gold prices were particularly low. We're at multiples of the gold price there now. So that's why we saw the potential to go out and do the work around this JORC resource that we've just declared at the Sananad project. And so I'm quite excited to do the pre-work there as well about getting that project into production, probably on a quicker pathway than you would otherwise expect.
And how is technology making a big difference now too? Is it making it easier to know where the mineralisation is in using satellites or drones or other technology compared to what it would have been back in the 1850s?
We benefit from a lot more technology on our side now than what we do previously. And obviously before we do any drilling underneath using our diamond drill rigs, we've already done the surface work, the LiDAR work, the geophysics and all that so that we can really identify which areas have the most potential for the gold. You're never really certain until you put the drill bit down there. But really, we do benefit from that modern technology. And obviously, some of the holes that we're doing at the moment can be as long as 1 kilometre deep in under the ground. And 100 years ago or in the 1850s, those mines probably, a lot of those surface workings only went down 30 or 70 metres or 100 metres at a time because they ran out of manpower or they didn't have the technology. So we really do benefit, as you do say, from using modern technology methods on those previous historic mine workings.
And then, obviously Victoria in the context of 100 years ago benefited enormously economically from the significant gold that was found, that sort of led the world in many ways too. And I mean, potentially there's so much more gold there, which is what you're really saying, that, you're a bit of a pioneer, Aureka's a bit of a pioneer in coming back in to create the new, perhaps renaissance for gold in Victoria. And I think, with some great success there with what you're doing, it's probably going to make a lot more people look at the opportunity there as well and follow suit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the market does consider, and people overseas do consider Victoria to be a world-class gold field, if you like. And we've got world-class mines like the Fosterville gold mine in the Bendigo zone. And obviously, companies like Southern Cross have really shown that you can create a lot of value here in Victoria in recent years. I do know that the Victorian budget is in need of a little bit of repair, and people wouldn't realise that that the Fosterville gold mine is one of the biggest taxpayers in the state. And we would love to continue to invest in Victoria. As I said, we've been investing in the community. We've held our community drop-in sessions recently. We've purchased some land. We're employing people locally because I think we really do need to realise the amount of potential that lies underneath the ground. If we just dig down or drill down a little bit further to have a look at the gold potential there, I think it's hugely significant. The contribution that we could actually make to the state, to local communities and to the area.
And as you say, you can see that when you go to places like Bendigo and Ballarat and Castlemaine and places where you're also drilling, in the community where the success, say, Fosterville's had, which has been incredible because they've got a resource, I think, of 3 million ounces there. And you can see, particularly in Bendigo, where a lot of that money's been spent in the community, in infrastructure there, with community halls and hospitals and
absolutely.
Which is a lot of people forget that the companies give back into that state. And you can still see evidence in all those places of the gold rush of the 1850s as you can in Melbourne as well. But obviously.
So that's why we do have some of those most significant buildings in regional Victoria. They were built through the wealth that was built back then in the gold mining times in the heyday. It'd be great for the industry to continue to invest and recreate some of that wealth that we can reinvest in the local community and really benefit the people of regional areas in Victoria. I think it's a huge heritage that we do have, and it shouldn't always be thought of as something in the past. I think through the efforts of our company, and there's a number of other small Victorian gold companies out there that are really striving to bring Victoria's gold to life and really create the next renaissance in gold here in Victoria.
And I suppose when you look at your share price and your market cap, which is around $15 million, you'd think there's very little downside, but lots of upside, particularly given that you're doing some drilling at the moment, and that could be very exciting to watch for people.
Yeah, it's a very good point, Rod. Yeah, we've got a modest market cap of around $15 million and we've got about $5 million cash in the bank, or over $5 million cash in the bank. So we're in a terrific position to prosecute our work program and our exploration program and really advance our key projects over the coming months and over the coming year. So as Alex sort of alluded to before, I see significant potential in the value that we can create from a share price perspective, but also the value that we can invest into the community by employing more geologists, more drillers, more labourers who help us get all the work done. So we're very excited about the future, and particularly we're benefiting from this record high gold price and quite a modest Aussie dollar exchange rate, which does help as well.
If you were to have a guess at where you think, or what's in the ground in a dollar value in Victoria, where would you suggest that might be? In the billions?
Of course it's going to be in the billions. I mean, look at our company.
Hundreds of billions.
Yeah, we'll be hundreds of billions.
Yeah.
I mean, look at our company alone. Like, sometimes I like to conceptualize these things and say, look, the previous team that were working our assets already discovered around $1 billion worth of gold in the ground there, just at our Irvine Stall project in itself. Now we've just added a few $100 million of potential revenue there up at the Sanana gold project. We've obviously got a lot more work for that to be realised, but that just helps people conceptualise really the size of the prize, and I think that's what you were saying before, in that how much the gold industry, gold companies could really help the state and help communities get going, because we really need to see a lot more investment in regional Victoria, and we're for one certainly prepared to do that.
Oh, well done, James. Keep up the great work. And for our viewers and investors, make sure you watch this stock. That's ticker code AKA, Aureka Limited. We've had James Gurry here today with us. Rod North and I are not advisors, so make sure you speak to your advisor and listen to us when we bring this good news story to you again shortly. Thank you for watching.